The Week 2 schedule for this upcoming 2023 college football season is absolutely loaded. We've done Week 1, now we're moving on to Week 2, and just listen to some of these games. Cincinnati at Pittsburgh, Illinois at Kansas, Stanford, USC, Purdue, Virginia Tech, Oklahoma State versus Arizona State, Vanderbilt versus Wake Forest, Arizona versus Mississippi State, App State, UNC, UCF versus Boise State. Those are games that didn't even make it into the top 10. That's how good this week is. And, we talked about Week 1. Not a ton of great games in Week 1. Week 2 absolutely delivers. I mean, there are 20 to 30 games probably that you're going to want to watch. So this is a big-time schedule here in Week 2. I did the Week 1 video. A lot of you commented and said you want to see every week. So we're going to do this probably on Mondays. Every Monday I will do a new week and we'll look at the top 10 games from that week. So we'll start with number 10, Auburn at Cal. So this one, maybe I'm a little biased here, but this was an intriguing matchup here. You got Hugh Freeze at Auburn taking over. A new era there. They're going to go all the way out west against a Cal team that had a disappointing season last year. Not a big reason for optimism going into this year, but I still think this will be a really good matchup. I think it'll be a close game. I think Auburn's a long ways away from being a team that can just go out and win easily against a Power 5 team, even though Cal maybe isn't one of the better Power 5 teams. So I think this will be a good game, a really good test for Auburn going on the road. And again, the first chance to see Hugh Freeze and this Auburn team face a quality opponent, or at least a Power 5 opponent. So that's number 10 for me. Again, all those games I just listed, I think you could make an argument for some of them to be on this list as well. I mean, a lot of quality games here, but this is the one I went with for number 10. Moving on to number 9, Nebraska at Colorado. This is going to be a really interesting matchup here. Potentially both of these teams will be 0-1 in this game because they both have tough matchups in Week 1. And it's just, new eras here. You got new head coaches. You got programs that are ready to maybe turn things around. Are still maybe early in the rebuilding stages. But you got two traditional old school Big 12 teams. An old school Big 12 rivalry. Neither one of these teams in the Big 12 now. But still, it's just an interesting matchup here. And it's a really, really big game because if these two teams come in 0-1, and I'm not saying that they will for sure, but let's say they do, then the loser of this game is going to be 0-2, and all that excitement, all that buzz going into the season, it's going to be gone. Or it's going to be much, much smaller. So this is a really, really big game for these two programs. Nebraska, Colorado. Winner maybe will go on to have a decent season. Loser maybe having a really disappointing season. Let's move on to number 8, Wisconsin at Washington State. This is a really fun one here. Washington State shocked everyone when they went on the road and beat Wisconsin last year. Of course, that was just kind of a sign of things to come for Wisconsin. This was a team that was just in a mess last year, and they've made a change. New head coach, totally different offense. I really like this Wisconsin team. I like what they've added in the transfer portal. I really feel like they are the favorites in the Big Ten West if it all comes together for them. Washington State's just kind of an average team. I mean, they're not going to be a top 25 team, but they're not bad. I mean, they're a quality team, a team that's probably going to at least get to a bowl game. They're playing at home in this one, but Wisconsin, with revenge on their minds, can they go on the road and do what Washington State did to them last year? We shall see, but I really feel like this will be a great one, and it'll be a close game. Number 7, Iowa and Iowa State. Obviously, this one's on the list. It's a rivalry. It's always a good game, it seems like. Iowa State kind of surprised us all last year when they went on the road and beat Iowa. Now can Iowa return the favor? Iowa State's a team that lost a ton of close games last year. Iowa's a team that's still probably trying to figure out what they're going to do on offense. Cade McNamara coming over from Michigan. Is he going to give them the spark that they need at that quarterback spot? We shall see. I think they have more issues than just the quarterback. But they're going to have really good defense. And I think this is probably going to be one of those lower scoring games like it is a lot of times in this rivalry. But this has definitely got to be on the list. Again, number 7 here, Iowa versus Iowa State. Number 6, Texas A&M at Miami. Last year we thought going into the season that was going to be a massive showdown. Turned out to be two teams that were just setting up for disappointment. This year, I think Texas A&M has a little bit more of an upside than Miami. I think Texas A&M has a chance to be a pretty good team this year. Miami, I think, will be improved, but how much, that's the question. This is going to be a big game, though, for these two teams. I would say the winner is really going to get a boost, but again, go back to last year. It really did. Both teams didn't have good seasons, so it really didn't matter who won this game. But I feel like this year, if Texas A&M can go on the road, beat Miami, going to give them some confidence. But if Miami could get this win, it could really help turn their season around. So this is a huge game. I think both teams will be better than they were last year. How much better? This game maybe will tell us a lot. Number 5 is Utah at Baylor. This is a big game here. Utah's got a really tough non-conference schedule with Florida and Baylor, 2 Power 5 opponents. And remember, they play 9 conference games as well. Going on the road here, Baylor's going to be a team that I think is going to be improved from last year. Bring back a decent amount of talent, a decent amount of production from last season. Added some transfers as well. So this is going to be a tough game for Utah. I think they probably will be favored, but not a guaranteed win. I think this is going to be a close 4-quarter game and potentially a top 25 matchup. Baylor probably won't be in the top 25 at this point, but if they win this game, then that's probably going to put them in the top 25. So this is a big game for Baylor, a chance to really turn things around from where they were last year. For Utah, it's a must-win if they're going to be where they want to be at the end of the season. If they want to take that next step and be in that playoff race, they got to win this game. Of course, if their goal is just getting to the Rose Bowl, then or winning the Pac-12, this game really doesn't matter. But I feel like it's a pretty big game for them. And again, setting the tone for the season for both of these teams. Number 4, Ole Miss at Tulane. I think this could be a top 25 matchup. I really like Ole Miss. I like what they've done in the transfer portal. I think this is going to be a quality team, a top 20 team at least. Tulane's probably a top 25 team as well. Maybe not as good as they were last year, but still a good team playing at home. This will be a tough one for Ole Miss. I think this will be a really good game, a close game, and it's a big one. It's gonna probably be under the radar. You look at Ole Miss, Tulane, you don't think about it being a big game, but I think it is a big game, and it's number 4 on our top 10 list. Number 3, Notre Dame at NC State. Really big game here. Before Notre Dame goes and plays Ohio State, that's going to be the focus, that big game coming up. They've got to go on the road and play a good NC State team. This is going to be a quality team. Brennan Armstrong coming over at quarterback is maybe an upgrade for them compared to Devin Leary. I think they're similar, and reuniting with his old offensive coordinator, I feel like this offense will be good. Notre Dame with Sam Hartman at quarterback, their offense should be improved. So a game that you probably would have thought about last year as being a real low-scoring game. This year, maybe a little more high-scoring. Maybe you see some points in this game. And for Notre Dame, you've got to find a way to win this game. With the schedule they have after this, they cannot afford a loss here. They're going to be in the same situation they were in last year. For NC State, it's an opportunity to maybe climb into the top 15 with a big win. So this is a big one here, and it's number 3 on our list. Number 2, Oregon at Texas Tech. This is a sneaky big game. I think a lot of people just look at Oregon. They're going to see them ranked pretty high. Texas Tech maybe isn't ranked at all and think that this is going to be an easy win for Oregon. I disagree. I think Texas Tech has a legitimate chance to win this game. You compare the two teams, I think Oregon has a slight advantage, but they're playing on the road, and they lose a lot on the offensive line. And early in the season, you wonder about that offensive line. Texas Tech, can they get after the quarterback, get after Bo Nix, stop the run game? That's going to be probably the key in this one. And so I think Texas Tech will be able to score in this game. So it's going to be a good one. I think Texas Tech, again, has a legitimate chance. I'm not saying they're going to win, but I do think they have a chance in this game. And I think it'll be a close 4-quarter game. I think Texas Tech's a top 25 team. So to me, this is a huge game between Oregon and Texas Tech. But it's not number 1. Number 1 is Texas and Alabama. Everyone's going to agree with this. It's a pretty easy pick. Huge game. Obviously, it's going to be probably a top 15 matchup. We'll see where Texas winds up in the preseason rankings. Alabama has a lot of question marks. I mean, this is not the Alabama we saw last year coming into the season, where we thought they were maybe the best team in the country, and maybe they were. They were weird. They were weird last year. Had a lot of ups and downs. Looked like the best team in the country at times, but didn't look all that great at other times. Remember, Texas had them on the ropes. This time it's in Bryant-Denny. I think if this game was at Texas, I'd probably pick Texas to win. At Alabama, that makes it a tough one. Bama probably going to be favored by about a touchdown or so, but I think Texas has a shot. Quinn Ewers, we saw what he did early in that game last year before getting injured. So I think it's going to be a good one. I think it's going to be potentially a game that shocks the college football world if Texas is able to pull off the upset. And it's a test for Alabama with a lot of new faces early in the season. I really feel like this is a game that could go either way. And I think it's clearly the biggest game for week 2. We'll do week 3 next week. If you missed week 1, you can go back and watch that video. Thanks for watching this one, and stay tuned for more here on the SG1 Sports College Football Channel.